Alright, so we've had practice naming simple alkanes and we've named compounds with alkyl groups coming off of them, and now we're going to be throwing alkyl halides into the mix. So first of all, the alkyl halides are halogens, so group 17 is the halogen family. I'll go ahead and bold that out. So you have the 5 elements. You have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. So you're only going to be using fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Probably because astatine is very radioactive and only has a half-life of about 8.1 hours. So these are the only 4 that you're going to be using. You're not going to be using that. And when you're naming and these go onto the compound, fluorine changes to fluoro in the name, chlorine goes to chloro, bromine goes to bromo, and iodine goes to iodo. So pretty much the INE just comes off and you're adding an O. So we're going to get into some examples showing how this is done. So for this first example, starting off, as always, we're going to be numbering the longest carbon chain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right here, there's no carbon here. It's just chlorine coming straight off. So I'll go ahead and number that. People do make the mistake thinking that there is a carbon with the alkyl halide, but there isn't. So we can go ahead and name this 6 carbon chain. So that's going to be hex, all single bonds making it hexane. And with the chlorine coming off, it's coming off of the second carbon, so this will just be 2-chlorohexane. And we did start numbering over here rather than over here because we want this to be the lowest number possible. So getting into the next example, we have a chlorine and a bromine coming off, and then it looks like we have an ethyl group over here. So first of all, we're going to name the longest carbon chain. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll go ahead and number that real quick. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So remember that we're always going to name these alphabetically, so I'll go ahead and circle this ethyl group first of all. So it's ethyl because there's a carbon here and a carbon here, and then this line is the bond that's connecting it. So I'll write that out. Ethyl, so this is actually going to be a 6-ethyl, and I'll go ahead and write this in a different color so it's not too confusing. So we have bromo and chloro, which is what their names will be, and we want to name it alphabetically. So bromo is what's going to come first. I will actually name the nonane first. So there's a 9-carbon chain, which will make it nonane because 9, the prefix for that is non. And then we are going to have the bromo, so it's going to be 3-bromo because it's before the C in the alphabet. And then we're going to have 2-chloro, and then 6-ethyl. And I've run out of room, so I'll go ahead and erase this real quick. So we have 6-ethyl next. So we have 3-bromo, 2-chloro, 6-ethyl, and then nonane. So that right there is how you name this compound. And then getting into the next example, we have a ring. So this is going to be cyclo, and it's going to be cyclohexane because there's 6 carbons in this. So I'll go ahead and name cyclohexane real quick. So cyclo being a ring, hexane is 6 carbons. So we can identify this as a methyl, and then we see we have an iodo as well. And you're probably wondering, where do we start? What's going to be the first carbon? So we do this by the alphabet. So I comes before M. So iodo is going to be the first carbon. So that's 1, 2, and then we would just go around and name it up to 6. So to name this, it's going to be 1-iodo, 1-iodo, 2-methyl cyclohexane. So once you break it down, not too difficult, and just remember that you do this alphabetically if the number that comes first, like the first carbon, is whatever's first in the alphabet if you come into a situation like this. So moving on to the next example, uh, first off we're going to start finding or numbering the longest carbon chain. So this right here, the fluorine, this is not a carbon. People make the mistake thinking that this right here is a carbon, but that's just the bond attaching the fluorine. So you start here with that carbon. So I'll go ahead and count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to start numbering right here because this is where the nearest group is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then this right here is going to be a methyl group. So it's going to be a 4-methyl. And F comes before M, so this is going to be named as 1-fluoro, and then 4-methyl, and then because we have a 7-carbon chain, it's going to be heptane. So 1-fluoro, 4-methylheptane is how you would name that compound. And getting into the last example, we're actually going to draw this one out. So the name is given. We have 1,1,1-tribromo, 4-chloro, 3-ethyl, 6,7-dimethyldecaine. And looks pretty intimidating by the name, but once you break it down, you'll figure this out, and it's not too bad. So we have the decaine that we're going to start off with. So it's not a ring, it's just decaine. So it's 10 carbons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can just start adding all of the substituents or groups. So we have 1,1,1-tribromo. So it's going to be 3 bromos coming off of the first carbon. And then we have 4-chloro, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th carbon. It's going to be a chlorine. 3-ethyl, so 1, 2, 3. We have an ethyl coming here. So eth is 2 carbons, and then we have a 6,7-dimethyl. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where the first methyl is going to be, and then 7, that's the second methyl. So that's how you draw that compound. Keep in mind, looking at this name, it's all written alphabetically. Notice how the tri and the di does not come into play when you're naming these alphabetically. You have to tune those out or not look at those and look at the first letter of all of the main groups coming off. So B, C, E, and M, those are all alphabetically correct. So hopefully this video helped you out. If you want to leave it a like or a thumbs up, that would help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.